top holdings include, some of the biggest names out there, such as Microsoft and Alphabet. What are your thoughts, and Amazon? What are your thoughts about further consolidation being allowed or not by some of the biggest technology companies, and or further regulation of their existing business?
Yeah, well, one of the really interesting things about an information age business compared to an industrial age business is you don't want to take the exact same approach to regulation, because the network effects, the data network effects, the positive that can come out of consolidating a large amount of market share in an information age business, you don't want to tamp that down because you're actually creating more benefits for consumer. But what you do want to do is create open access, open data access, allow other companies to come in and access that data, assuming that the consumers give consent to do that. And that's what we don't have right now. So we recommend a more sort of thoughtful approach to regulation, where we're not taking these industrial age playbooks of breaking companies up or stopping them from doing things and actually just opening them up and allowing access to that data. That's not the approach the government's taking today, but that's one that we would argue for.
Right. What about those who argue simply that the power of these platforms is unprecedented and we just haven't adjusted our antitrust regulations to account for that? We've never seen the companies of the size and or scope and or overall influence that they have in our society the way that we do right now.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. So we need to take a very thoughtful approach and not, what happens when the government has stepped in historically, and you look at financials, tobacco, energy, healthcare, look at any industry where the government has stepped in with a heavy hand, they've done what's called create regulatory capture. The more regulatory burden you put on an industry, the higher the cost it is to operate in that industry, the more difficult it is for a startup to come in and gain traction against the incumbents. So often, regulation cements the monopolies, and you can look throughout the entire economy in prior regulated sectors, telecoms, everything, where this has happened. So I think what we don't want to do is take that same playbook, but we do want to recognize these companies have unprecedented power. They are creating a lot of good, but there are some negative externalities. How do we go after and do that without cementing them as the monopolies and ensuring that we have innovation? That's to avoid regulatory capture, and that's to allow them to continue to grow while opening up access to their data and any services and products they're using internally. External companies need to have open access to that, and the consumers need to have the control over that data and what happens with it.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.